Hal-Con existed in a previous lifetime. There's another group of organizers that were looking after the event, I believe, in the mid to late 80s and early 90s. So there's always a passionate sci-fi community in Halifax and Greater Nova Scotia and the surrounding areas. So we've got Walter Koenig here from the original Star Trek series, as well as Denise Crosby, who was on Star Trek Next Generation. They're some of our most favorite people from the Star Trek world, so we were very fortunate to be able to bring them in. It turns out that they're absolutely lovely people, which is a tremendous bonus for all of us as well. We've also got some really unique events, which is cool for Hal-Con. We had the convention premiere of a program called Geeks versus Nerds. The Inner Space guys have been here from Space Channel. They've been absolutely phenomenal, working the crowd, getting to know everybody, seeing the costumes, filming a lot of stuff. And we know that they're going to be covering the event on air.
This is a rare chance to get out and actually meet the people who are buying our works. The people who come up to us and say, "Oh, please read chapter 5." It's like, wow, you read the book. But it's also a chance to meet other people who are doing not just stuff similar to what you're doing, but entirely different material. And to see what else is going on out there and be inspired by other people's creative efforts.
There's absolutely no question that we can call this event an epic win on our part. For our first convention, to get very close to 1,200 people through the door, nothing but smiling faces, probably 60 to 70% of people in costume. And we know that we've got ticket sales from as far away as Florida and the UK. We've got international press, the front cover of our local paper, and so many smiling faces in the crowd. All of our guests seem to be happy, all of our vendors are thrilled. We know that this has been a really strong first event, and we expect that we're just going to continue to grow and continue to improve. So what we're looking at next year is reconfirming Aaron Douglas. He had to pull out, unfortunately, due to film commitments, but he has signed on for 2011. And we've got a short list of about 50 people that we're trying to narrow down.
Well, Kill Shakespeare is basically this action-adventure story that pits all of the Bard's greatest heroes against his most menacing villains on this quest to either save or find a mysterious wizard named William Shakespeare. And so where the idea came from was actually about almost 7 years now, my partner Anthony and I were brainstorming video games. We'd worked in film and TV in Toronto, and we were trying to come up with some new concepts. And Kill Bill was out, and Anthony made a crack about, we should do a Kill Bill game, but instead of killing David Carradine, let's kill, a different Bill. What about Bill Shakespeare? We'll have Romeo and Hamlet on one side and Lady Macbeth and Iago on the other. And we stopped and thought, that's actually a really, really cool idea. And I think what made us actually do it, rather than just kind of putting it in a drawer and, having, your list of good ideas that you never do, was the fact that Shakespeare his stories have lasted for so long. These characters are 400 years old, but they still resonate today. And we just got so excited about kind of twisting these Shakespearean characters just a little bit, staying faithful to them. Like, for example, in our world, it's about 10 years after Juliet died in her play. She's survived in our world, and she became this sort of Joan of Arc, leader of men type character. And if you read Shakespeare, there's maybe a little evidence that, yeah, she was a pretty strong-willed woman, so why wouldn't she become a leader? And that was really cool for us as creators. You can go to killshakespeare.com. We've got our trailer there. You can go to our YouTube channel where we have a whole bunch of different videos we've done, including you can see the pitch contest. We actually won a film contest in Toronto, so you can see the presentation that won us the best movie idea at the Toronto International Film Festival. And you can also go online to order the comics through iPhones, iTunes, and killshakespeare.com's got everything you need. Our artist Andy Belanger, who does some things for DC, Wildstorm, Boom, he does a great webcomic called Bottle of Awesome. For issue 7 for Kill Shakespeare, we are doing the play within a play, which is this classic Shakespearean sort of device. And so everything in issue 7 is almost framed as if you were actually watching a play rather than reading a comic book. And so he's done a couple of fantastic things. One, is in the actual play within a play, he's layering scenes upon scenes. So there's a gigantic background scene over 2 pages, but on top of it are all these little scenes that are happening. So you can get the overall scope of the play, but then all the little beats and moments from all sorts of different angles. But where he's really doing something crazy is we have a Hall of Mirrors scene. And in there, instead of using, say, 5 or 6 panels, Andy's got sometimes 20, 30, 40 panels because of all the reflections, and each reflection tells a different little part of the story. Whether it's illustrating the tale that Hamlet's telling Juliet, whether it's showing reflections of Hamlet, showing who Hamlet really thinks he is, or whether it's showing people like his dead father watching Hamlet mysteriously through these mirrors. Andy is doing some of the most crazy, aggressive, interesting, artistic storytelling that I think anybody's going to see, not just this year, but probably in the last 5 or 6 years. If you're an art fan, at least pick it up. Look at it in the store, and I guarantee you'll pick it up. Even if you don't read anything else in the series, you're going to want to own that because the art is fantastic.
I make a big point to go out and see the kids that, because I believe that sort of kids get a bum deal when it comes to books. They know what movies and television shows they want to watch, what video games they want to play because they're marketed to. But when it comes to books, they expect them to walk inside of a bookstore with 100,000 titles, find out and choose a book that's right for them. And the publishers, they deal with it by marketing to the teachers and the educators and the parents, and that's a lot to go through every year. So a lot slips through the cracks, and I believe that the only way to get the kids, young kids, reading is to go out there and actually talk to them, let them interact with the author. And I have a very big multimedia presentation that I use to inspire them. So whenever I do one of these, I always try to put a few schools in.
My name is Robert Lapine, professional model builder and general sci-fi nut. What you're looking at here is a model of the Alexei Leonov from the movie 2010, the film that Peter Hames made as a sequel to the original 2001 A Space Odyssey. Film came out in about 1984, and for a 17-year-old young man, this ship was very, very inspiring, and I pretty much spent the past 25 years plotting, planning, and trying to get this thing built. And then 6 months ago, I finally got off my duff and made it happen. The nice thing is about doing modeling this big, you just can't use like one item. So the core of the main section is actually plywood. Center spine is a thick-walled piece of steel pipe. You got PVC drainage piping down on the bottom for the docking clamp. This, the radar dish you're gonna love, is actually the top shield from a bird feeder. What was the word I heard today? Reutilizing old materials. The rest of the ship is pretty much sheet plastic, kibbles and bits, gaming pieces, plastic, you name it, I use it.
I've been trying for a couple of years to finish a treatment, never mind a screenplay, but a treatment for a film. And finally, events made that possible. And so I finished this treatment, and I thought, what's the likelihood of going directly from the screenplay to a motion picture? And the odds are so extreme and so extraordinary. I figured that doing it as a graphic novel might reduce the odds just a little, since so many films these days are inspired by graphic novels. So it's called Things to Come, and it's on the surface it sounds familiar, a story about vampires after the apocalypse. But actually, I do believe it's a different take and a different approach to the material. And I finished the first one. I'm waiting for my editor to tell me how many pages I have to cut. And I had the 4 mapped out. In addition, they wanted me to do a 4th issue of a comic book that I did in the 90s called Raver, so they could release that as a graphic novel as well. And on the plane, it was very productive, 4.5 hours. I think maybe when I look at the material tomorrow, I'll say, my God, what was I imbibing when I came up with this? But I think I've got the 4th issue of Raver pretty well mapped out as well. So I'm good. I'm good with that, and I'm happy. And that's really what I'm into. I also have a. See, you shouldn't have asked me. I wrote a novel many years ago, many years ago, which has been republished a couple of times and will be republished again in 2011. I was approached to do a radio drama of the novel, And a couple of summers ago, I went to Ipswich, Massachusetts, to record it, to direct it, record it with 45 actors. And we just converted the entire novel into a radio play. And it runs about 6 volumes, and it'll be on Sirius XM, I think that's what it's called, and it'll also be released through the big newspaper chains, the book chains, and on November 15th. And that's called Buck Alice and the Actor Robot.
Benefit of these people. Lay on!
Yeah, we're starting out here, we're releasing a new series. It's the start of a series called Infinity. It does stand alone. We hate the words to be continued, but it's a new series of kind of like very down-to-earth superhero adventures, very like people with strange abilities that come together in the end. It's wonderful. It's a really great. I'm trying to talk about it intelligently and failing completely, but it actually is a really sweet story that the two of us worked on together and struggled on for the last year and had many creative arguments over, and now it's out and we're very pleased with it.
Yeah, it's basically a take on the teen novel for more mature readers. So we're hoping to open up to an audience that maybe fell in love with comic books when they were younger and doesn't have the larger outlet right now that they have for their interests.
My name is Ariok. I'm actually a painter illustrator and specialized in dark art. And I've been working for many years with Koenig, who is one of the guests of Hal-Con, because it's the release of the 3rd art book that she made, plus the comics that's been released specially for the Hal-Con.
People don't know that, yes, sometimes behind an artist's painting there is a woman behind it, a muse, like, back in the days, Dali and all of them. So that's what I do, I'm a modern muse. This one was made by Dominic Marco. It's a special Hal-Con piece. And then I'll move on to That's My Baby. That's issue number 1 of my comic book. It's called Untamed. And I contributed to the story. It's not about me inspiring people anymore. It's about me telling a story. It's issue number 1 out of 4. So I'm super proud of this one. It's my baby. Then we have art books.
What about a science fiction guy, like a hand solo? Was that the type of guy that you like?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty good, yeah.
Yeah?
I'll go with that.
You go for that? I actually have a hand solo costume in my car too, so I got a lot
Maybe we'll see you after the interview.
Well, ladies, thank you very much for this. What's up next for you? You've got this coming up. But what's your next project?
Oh, wow, I don't know. This is just off the burner. Issue
This
number
is it?
2? Yeah.
This is it. You're in the middle of this. How about you? What's up next for you?
I just finished filming a movie called Roller Town. It's not sci-fi, but it's kind of disco era, roller skates and stuff. My name is Amy Kerr. I'm an actress and a model. amykerr.ca is my website. I'm friends with Koenig, and I came to support her with their comic book, and Ariok as well. They're both very good friends of mine.
You've got what it takes, kid. Never forget that.
If you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be?
Hawaii. You?
I was gonna stay here with you, but that's...
Me too.
Geeks versus Nerds is a debate-style show in which we take 3 geeks and 3 nerds, we put them on stage and we make them argue who's a better enforcer, Chewbacca or Worf, Spock versus Vader, who is the best second in command, and red shirts versus stormtroopers, who is the most ineffective military. The celebrity show is going to include both Kevin Murphy and Bill Corbett, from Mystery Science Theater 3000, both of the hosts of Inner Space.
An Imperial Stormtrooper is part of a collective group of varying organizational sizes ranging from squads to legions. They have legions of stormtroopers. There are no legions of red shirts.
Keep in mind that on the Wikipedia pages for each one of those, although we don't have the pictures, there's a picture of a storming, menacing stormtrooper on the stormtrooper page.
Red shirt is dead.
Dead.
I would just start off by saying 3 words that to me illustrate indubitably that stormtroopers are the least effective army, and those 3 words, my friends, are Battle of Endor.
By 3-foot teddy bears.
Funny because when you were talking about obscure sci-fi references, I really thought you were talking about me. It's been 43 years since I started with that show.
I was a Babylon 5 fan.